Welcome to the Narratator, a tool for demonstrating the automated process that results from the mapping we've done to link EPA-based questions to the ACGME subcompetencies. In a nutshell, the levels of supervision on our evaluation forms are each mapped to various milestone elements. As evaluations are completed, the milestone elements are linked with that level of supervision, and the elements linked As evaluations are completed, the milestone elements linked with that level of supervision and the elements linked to lower levels of supervision are counted and tallied as confirmed. The output you see on this screen is a box overlaying each milestone element. The tracker box consists of a numerator and a denominator. The numerator is the number of times a milestone element is marked confirmed. The denominators, these, are the number of times a milestone element had the opportunity to be marked confirmed or not. Basically, it's the number of opportunities a resident had to have a milestone element tallied as confirmed. For this demonstration, I am using numbers to represent levels of supervision marked on an evaluation form. I am using numbers to communicate with the logic of the spreadsheet. Complete supervision is represented by a 1 for the spreadsheet, partial supervision a 2, minimal supervision a 3, independent 4, aspirational 5. These numbers aren't meant to represent values. The EPAs, these each, are mapped to more than one subcompetency, but for this demonstration, I am just showing how the output tally would work for a single subcompetency. In this case, PC1 gathers and synthesizes essential and accurate information to define each patient's clinical problem. And then last, there has been significant lag in between the communication between the background of this spreadsheet and the Word document, but please bear with us. So to start off, just to show what a resident would look like who had maybe an R1 with a lot of partial and minimal supervisions, I'm going to say that each of these EPAs were given partial and minimum supervision values by the attending. In this case, Dr. Amory, with manage a patient with decompensated liver disease, gave her a partial supervision, and work up a transplant patient with signs of infection, he gave her a minimal supervision. Later on in that same rotation, Dr. Knight, her attending, gave her maybe a minimal and a partial. And later on a future rotation, like a ICU rotation, manage a patient with respiratory failure, she was given a partial supervision as well. So we've now evaluated 5 EPAs, and slowly our output will catch up with us. So what we have here eventually will be the number of times a milestone is marked confirmed over the number of opportunities. And that is the type of output that a clinical competency committee or our APDs will have to determine potentially where to mark a resident along this continuum given to us by the ACGME. So in this case, we can now see that this resident has had 5 out of 5 opportunities in everything in column 1, which we would probably deem as substantially demonstrated. And then 2 out of 5 opportunities would be something that the program would have to decide. Is that substantial demonstration, or is that maybe slightly demonstrated? And therefore, this 4th box right here would be the best place to mark the resident. Possibly. That's up to the CCC. And then last, I do want to show you that in some situations, there not every milestone element would be mapped. So for example, a patient-centered conversation about smoking cessation is something that incorporates history taking but not physical exam. And some of these milestone elements are about history taking, others are physical exam, and so not all of them ought to be mapped to that particular EPA. And in this case, they are not. So let's say she can do that independently. Or as if an independent practice is how we frame it. And so now what we have is, as we'll let things catch up, you can see that now the milestone elements in the categories that relate to history taking have all been marked appropriately according to how we gave her an independent. So what we have is actually one tally for being able to do a history taking out of 6 opportunities. And here we have a 6, so that was confirmed. Everything lower was confirmed. And then last, coordinating with consults doesn't map to any of these. These maps to other EPAs. I can give that any value, and that will not change this residence output at all because it's mapped to other subcompetencies. If this were a senior doing things mostly with minimal supervision, independendently or possibly even aspirationally, we will see a different output on the subcompetency. So I'm going to go through and pretend like this person is getting mostly independence with an aspirational management of liver disease. Again, working up a patient with signs of infection, managing respiratory failure, coordinating with consults, and then a stellar smoking cessation conversationalist. And now, once again, we wait for the tally to catch up. So what we have here this time is a resident who has probably, we would consider substantially demonstrated my output is still catching up. I'm going to pause while it does. Okay, it's caught up now. Potentially an APD or a CCC would now consider all of these milestone elements substantially demonstrated and be willing to either mark here or possibly here, depending again on judgment. This is the area where to mark is not automatically populated. It's just the information that is. I think that summarizes everything we want to share. Thank you.